Welcome, everyone. Hope we are all well on this fine day. And thank you for joining the webinar. Today, we are going to look how to present using virtual forensics. So not only what it'll look like in terms of going to court, putting it into a report, everything like that. We'll also go how it benefits the analyst, the investigator as well. So my name's Tom Cross. I'm the VFC technical manager here at MD5. I help the sales side of things, helping provide technical demonstrations, everything like that. But I also do all things in terms of these webinars and everything like that when it comes to VFC. So just to give you a little bit of background into MD5 as a company. So we were founded in 2003 and we are the creators of VFC. But not only that, we are also a UK leading provider of digital forensics and e-discovery / e-disclosure services to large corporate businesses, law firms, legal firms, government and law enforcement agencies as well. But like I say, what we're going to focus on today is VFC. So what is VFC? It's virtual forensic computing. It's been built on 17 plus years of digital forensic experience. And it just gives a whole new dynamic to the way an investigator, or not even necessarily a new dynamic now, because like I say, it's been here for 17 plus years, but it gives a completely different perspective to how anyone views digital data. And that's not only in the digital forensic world as well. You've got the cybersecurity and incident response side of things too. Because these virtual machines are sandbox environment, it gives you so much scope in whatever you want to use it for. And so some important benefits of using VFC for these types of investigations. So it doesn't alter the original data. It's easy to use and creates these VMs in literally minutes. So from start to finish, a virtual machine can be created in no more than 2 minutes. Various password bypass features that will allow you just to get straight into that device. We've got standalone VM functionality, which I'll get onto at the end. But basically, that allows you to create a copy of a virtual machine that doesn't require the original image present for it to work. So that's really nice for court. We've got now the ability, and this is a feature of version 7, and this is going to feature a little bit later on. But we've also got the ability now to virtualize single volume partition images. So the images that have only got like a file system in there, VFC can now virtualize those. And we've also got a really nice triage feature in there as well, and an amazing inject files feature too, which will allow you to seamlessly inject any sort of software application executable inside a virtual machine while it's being created. So that's really nice too. So we are actually going to go through some of our success stories. So it's all well and good me sitting here and just telling you what VFC can do. But I think it'll be nice to actually discuss what is actually being used for out there and how successful it actually is. So we have actually got an example of where the single volume partition image / S mode success story. We've got one that revolves around cryptocurrency in the Brave browser. We've got a financial investigation success story, vulnerability testing success story, and we've also got a publicized Oklahoma police success story as well, which is available to view online. And if anyone's interested, if you want to get in touch with me afterwards, I'll leave my contact details. I can send you a copy of that information over. If you do have any questions, I'd love to answer them at the end. If you want to let them post them in the chat option, the questions and answers option, Megan will present those to me at the end. So yeah, hi from South Africa as well. Hi to South Africa, should I say. So now on to the two different versions of VFC that we offer. So we've got VFC Lab. This is the typical VFC that has been used for these 17 plus years now. The physical component in itself is just the VFC dongle. Everything else is downloaded from our website. So if you already got one, you'll obviously have one of these already. If you don't have one, this is what we would ship out to you. That's required for the software to work. Now, the portable version is exactly the same as a lab version, except, as the name suggests, we can use that in a portable environment. And so number 2 there is a Windows to go environment that contains VFC. But on there as well, because it's a Windows environment, it's a Microsoft environment, you can install other softwares on there. So if you do have other tools that you wish to use in, like, for example, the triage side of things, absolutely perfect for this. How that works is you plug that into the existing laptop. It would need to, or tower, or whatever you've seized from scene. And like I say, this can be done in the lab as well. You plug it in, make sure it's switched off, go into the BIOS, boot to USB only, and you'll be then let into the VFC portable environment. Number 3 and 4 on there are just to aid in terms of collecting data. So we've got a mass storage device there, and we've just got some USB connectors. And I'd also recommend having some USB adapters too, depending on what sort of connections the original device has. So that's what we've got there. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I've got an image mounted. But like I say, the portable version works exactly the same. Once you're in that Windows to Go environment, it will look no different. So on to the first real life case. So just to go through these points, we had an urgent collection of devices, which included a Windows laptop, a Lenovo laptop. When the exhibit was returned to the lab, it was identified that the internal drive was an eMMC hard drive. It was also identified that the laptop OS was Windows 11 with S mode enabled. So the first things we need to decipher here for this investigation are, what are the potential hurdles? The first is that the eMMC hard drive is quite a difficult drive and quite a delicate drive to remove. And there's been reports of those breaking just because of the nature of what they are. So that's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is S mode. Normally, the only way to find that out would be once it's imaged or something like that, and you've actually got it running through all the other forensic machines, forensic softwares. Even then, that it's not guaranteed to even pick up on that. So this is where VFC came in to help this customer. So in VFC itself, which I'm actually going to open up here, so hopefully you can see that on screen. Up here, and I appreciate it may be really small. Down here, I appreciate it may be really small, but we have a feature in there that allows you to disable Windows S mode as the virtual machine is being created, whether that's in the lab or portable environment, it doesn't matter. The problem with S mode is that it only allows you to download Microsoft Authentic tools from the Microsoft Store. When it comes to using forensic software, especially VFC with the password tools, they wouldn't work because they will class as a third-party tool once a virtual machine is up and running. So having that ability to actually disable Windows S mode as it's being created is really, really powerful. And it's a case of just having that ticked, and it'll do that every single time for you. In terms of the drive as well, we don't have to remove it now. So the beauty of VFC Portable is that it can still stay connected, and we can boot a virtual machine up on their existing hardware. What that will allow us to do as well is, as I mentioned before, we can inject files into these virtual machines. So we can inject a portable image tool inside a virtual machine and get a forensic image from it that way with the S mode disabled, which will be really, really useful for the rest of the investigation. But also, once you've got that image and you want to come virtualize it again, VFC will be able to read that sort of image because it's technically taking a live image inside the virtual machine. It'll be a single volume partition image. So VFC will be able to then virtualize that, which is really, really nice as well. And it's a case of, again, just having this button ticked up here. Once we've got that okay, VFC will be able to do that every single time, which is really, really good. I don't believe there is a tool out there that can virtualize those types of images apart from VFC. So if you need to get hold of a virtual machine for those sorts of images, VFC is the go-to tool. For the rest of this webinar, the virtual machine that I'm actually using is created from a decrypted DD image as well. So the image was taken from a live machine where we were able to access it without the BitLocker taking over. We were able to then get an image because that's the only way we could have done it. And now I can virtualize it and use it in my examples, but it just shows you how powerful VFC is as well. If there's anything you'd want to go through in more depth, get in touch with us afterwards. Like I say, I'll leave my contact information, and I'm sure we'll be able to distribute that. Get in touch with us. We can do a one-on-one, and I can show you just how that works. So on to the next case study. So this one's a little bit of a two-parter. So the first part is to do with cryptocurrency, and the second part is to do with Brave browser. So cryptocurrency itself, the forensic tools out there, the standard ones especially, would find it very difficult to decode that sort of information. Whereas when it comes to virtual machines, when a virtual machine is created, we've got full access to what's in that machine, essentially. That comes with a lot of caveats, but you've essentially got full access. So you can go through all the data, you can have a look everywhere, you can use all the applications, everything like that. And that would include cryptocurrency, providing you can sign in and things like that. You've got that information at your fingertips. In terms of how quickly as well you're able to get hold of that information, like I say, VFC will create these virtual machines within literal minutes. So no delay. You're able to get into that device and start having a look through any wallets, anything like any crypto wallets, anything like that. The beauty of, and I'll just open it up and I'll start resuming this virtual machine. The beauty of using a virtual machine for this sort of thing is that it's all in its natural environment. It's all in its original environment. And so that means there's less of a chance to see if there's any, if it requires any like second factor authentication, anything like that. If the original user is still signed into those accounts, chances are it'll still be signed in on the virtual machine as well. So you could see latest transactions, everything like that. Hopefully you can now see that virtual machine running. On there, you can see up here, we've got Binance. We've got access to potentially go in Brave browser and everything like that. So we've got full access to it there. And then on top of that, just how easy is it to use this sort of this sort of tool as well? We're inside this virtual machine. We're looking at a laptop essentially, and we can just go through it like we would have been able to do if we just opened up that laptop and switched it on. It's so much easier to understand evidence, information, artifacts in its original format. And VFC allows you to do this. So the second part is Brave browser. And so if you're not fully aware of what Brave browser is, it's a privacy-focused browser that focuses on privacy, but that makes it quite anti-forensic, and it makes it very difficult to get information from it. Again, the standard tools find it very difficult to decode this sort of information. Whereas in VFC, we're able to pull absolutely everything through. And again, this may even be a file type that we're not even sure of. A VFC, like I say, can just pull absolutely everything through. So what we've actually got here, whereas other forensic tools wouldn't have been able to even find this information, is we've actually got cache data. So we've got a map here that could be crucial to the investigation, that could put a person in a place at the time as well. You can see it's trying to block the trackers and everything like that, but it doesn't matter. We've got full access to this. We can just start going through and having a look and seeing what there is. We've got the anarchist cookbook here as well. Can start taking screenshots. The standalone virtual machine that I mentioned earlier, absolutely perfect for this because that'll allow you to then use it in court without needing the image present. So we've got all that information there, which is amazing. That we can just go through and have a look without any consequence. So going on, because there are a few for us to get through. And so going on to the next success story. This one's a financial investigation. So VFC is not just aimed at your typical investigations, which we all know what we're talking about. It's also helpful when it comes to financial investigations, fraud investigations, and that's because it's just so easy to use. So a computer with business record has been seized. Like I say, this is a real life case study. We just have to keep it anonymous for our customers' sake. So a computer with business record was seized. Data files with an obscure file extension were located during forensic examination. And we also located proprietary accounting software within the suspect's image. So there's a few things there which are potential hurdles. Before I go into that, so a quote that is alongside this is that this person who purchased VFC for a certain police department in the States for this specific investigation, and they'll be using it since. And so the first search for this software, because the struggle to get a hold of the original proprietary accounting software. So they did some research in virtual machines and things like that and realized that VFC is the best one out there. They got a hold of VFC so they could get a hold of this original software. Because VFC is creating it exactly like the original, you've got full access to that software. So I'm actually going to open up this virtual machine again and just open up this database here. We're going to treat this as if it's a financial database. It's not, but it doesn't matter. The principles still apply. So the original user couldn't view extracted documents, extracted reports, because he didn't have a like-for-like software that allowed him to see it. So what this person did was get it inside the virtual machine and viewed it just like the original user would have been able to view it. But not only that, they were able to use that specific software within a license period as well. So it doesn't matter if you come across a software that has expired, you can use VFC to put the time back. But they were able to fully use this software. So we can use all the features here. We can use the settings that the original person would have been able to use as well. So not only have we got access to all this data, so and Megan knows this as well because I was talking to her about it before. But I love Pokemon. So this is a cheat book database from Germany in 2002 that contains some Pokemon cheats. I can type in Pokemon and I can actually start using the functions and the features of this database to start finding evidence, to start finding artifacts, all this sort of information. And there's nothing stopping me now at this point from saving it as a text file and using VMware tools to extract that and put that onto my host machine. So then I can put that into my reports. If you don't work for law enforcement and you work for a company that has to provide reports to customers, etc., you're able to do that as well. It's so much easier to show them what's actually going on firsthand rather than just a full written report. Screenshots are absolutely perfect. But being able to actually view this data and use this sort of software just like the original user is invaluable. And this is what this original user of VFC has come back and said to us, is that it's proven invaluable for this sort of investigation and this sort of investigation alone. They've actually been using VFC since 2008, so pretty much when it first came out, not long after, and they've been using it ever since. If you'd like to go into more depth on this sort of thing, if you want to get in touch with us afterwards, more than happy to do that. But essentially what you would have been able to do on the original device, you're able to do inside the virtual machine. So if you've got questions such as, will I be able to access this? Will I be able to access that? Chances are my answer is going to be yes, but I'll be able to show you how to do that as well. So that's really, really good. And as well, it works for softwares and applications such as ones that are created for companies, organizations, or purpose-built ones. If you've got a purpose-built software with a purpose-built file type underneath it, other tools are going to find it near impossible to decode that information, but you've got full access to it inside VFC. Being able to get a copy of that sort of software is going to be near impossible as well. But like I say, and I want to reiterate, you've got full access to that inside the virtual machine. So going on back onto the presentation, just some examples there. We've got Sage, we've got QuickBooks, we've got Xero there as well. These financial databases can contain a lot of information, and being able to actually extract information from them as easy as VFC allows you to do. And I keep using this word, it is invaluable. So on to the next one. We have vulnerability testing, and I remember this one quite well. It's a relatively recent one as well. So a customer was faced with a tedious task of having to test the vulnerability and structure of an OS on a suspect's laptop. So what actually happened here was a report was written, a forensic examination took place, digital forensic examination took place. The report was written, it went to court, everything like that got through court. And the suspect turned around and questioned the actual integrity of the original hardware and software. So, yeah, like we say, the customer had the tedious task of having to prove that there was absolutely nothing wrong with the OS. The security and everything like that was completely fine. Having to do that sort of thing on an original device would have brought into question the actual validity of any sort of evidence that we found before, because we're writing new data at that point. So what our customer did was purchase a VFC license again, purchased it purposely for the vulnerability side of things, did the research on virtual machines, purchased VFC, was able to use the really, really powerful file injection feature that we've got to allow him to inject a vulnerability testing tool inside the virtual machine. So if I get this virtual machine open again, just as an example, you can see I've actually got FTK Portable up there. So it's as simple as being able to inject a tool in there. You'll go into the C drive and being able to access it. So if I open up the File Explorer here, go into the C drive, you'll see where the injected files go. Our customer was then able to run an analysis on the structure and vulnerability of the OS and found that it was perfectly fine. So, like we say, VFC creates these virtual machines exactly like the original. So, actually being able to check that out inside a virtual machine is really, really good. If the original device is broken and everything like that, to a point where it doesn't even switch on, VFC may not be able to get you to that point as well, but it just shows you that it's creating it like for like. And in this instance, we were able to find that, okay, there's actually nothing wrong at this point. So I haven't actually injected anything on this occasion, but a VFC files folder will be in there, and that allows you to access whatever you've injected in, and it's as straightforward as that. Not only is it for vulnerability testing as well, but going on to something similar, malware analysis, virus analysis, security analysis, all those sort of things. We can do the testing inside a virtual machine. Having that sandbox environment just gives you so much scope to actually find what you need to find without any risk at all. In an ideal world, the amount of people that have actually said this to me, you'd just love to open the original device up and start having a look through. And being able to do that just takes the credibility of any sort of investigation from here up here. I'm not sure how big the camera is, but hopefully you saw that. It just gives it another complete level to the investigation. And then actually then taking it to the court side of things and actually showing what's going on in court, being able to show that with a virtual machine is so much easier, because if you then go back with a report, the suspects can almost play dumb. You've got a judge and a jury that may not fully understand the report as well, but taking a virtual machine to say there's nothing wrong with this OS, there's nothing wrong with the structure or the capabilities or anything like that, and here's your proof, and just showing them what the original person would have seen, it's very difficult to deny what's going on. That brings me nicely on to the last one, and before I go into some other features of VFC, because we've got plenty of time here, so I'd quite like to show you some of the powerful features of VFC and just how quick it is using these as well. Oklahoma State Police. So the case, and I'm just going to read this out. The case involved a victim being reported missing after he failed to turn up for a weekend of military drills. So the wife was eventually arrested for murder, but later denied knowing anything about the crime or the whereabouts of her husband or the admission to her friend. So in a nutshell, the husband went missing. The wife denied it. she actually told one of her friends, but also at the same time denied telling her friend. Nobody was ever found, and everything in the case was circumstantial evidence, and essentially it just went cold. And this happened before VFC existed. Then VFC came out, and the Oklahoma State Police caught wind of VFC's capabilities and were able to create a virtual machine of the wife's laptop device, computer device, and found so much evidence and so much information, down to things such as, and I've got a list here. So the way she organized her icons on a desktop, mostly text files that were shown in this instance, but it doesn't matter what sort of files they are. VFC will be able to read those. Text files showing how to dismember bodies, how to roast a full-size pig carcass, how to dissolve a pig carcass, full internet history that was reassembled using VFC alone, and the sort of searches that were there as well. Pretty much just put this case over the line and made it near impossible to deny what was actually going on. We had internet chat program, messages, emails, it was all there. And the original user has literally said in a format that everybody understands. Everyone that has ever used a computer can understand. So when we're talking to a judge and a jury as well, technical jargon can get in the way, and that is a real problem. So being able to actually explain and illustrate what's going on with these images, with these screenshots, with the standalone virtual machine, just takes it to a whole new level. And like I say, it's very difficult to deny what's going on as well when it's your original device. So that is the end of that. If you do have any questions, let us know as well. I'll leave that up on the screen. But what I will do, hello from Italy, hello from Ukraine, hello to Ukraine and to Italy, sorry. I can't be in all those places at once. But yeah, thank you all for joining. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go through a couple of things inside the VM and inside VFC just to show you its capabilities. So like I say, I've already got an image mounted. VFC comes with its own mounting tool as well. But you can also download that from our website free of charge, the mounting tool. So if you need just an easy to use mounting tool, get on our website, download VFC mount. So I've got a decrypted DD image there, single volume partition image. And I just want to get it all loaded in for you. So I'm going to select the mounted drive. And it's because I've already got it running and it's already reading something. This is where technology would potentially fail me again. No, it's not. There we go. So now I've selected the drive. VFC is going to read that drive and give me a list of partitions. Once VFC has done that, I'm going to be able to select the partition. We select the partition that contains the OS system, the OS information, everything like that, to allow VFC to create a virtual machine. So I'm going to select the largest one, 9 times out of 10. That's going to be the one that contains everything. And then within about 30 seconds at this point, we're going to be given some triage information. What this triage information allows you to do is it allows you to make a decision on what happens next. Or, to be fair, the triage information that you get using VFC, it pulls absolutely everything through. So you can see here to start off with, and again, I appreciate it's small, but it gives you the guest operating system, it gives you the last boot time, last shutdown time, last use date, who the registered owner is, if it's password protected or not, all that information there within 30 seconds. But not only that, we've got a triage log here as well within the same 30 seconds. Correct to say my name is, no problem. The information we have on the initial page can allow us to see if the device has even been used within the timeline of the investigation. So if it's not, we're able to determine that within 30 seconds. Obviously, that time can be used elsewhere, and it just gives you a better chance of being able to find more out of the investigation, get the most out of an investigation, because quite a lot of these investigations are time sensitive. So being able to start at the right place and finding where the right place is as quickly as we possibly can is going to make all the difference. And VFC gives you that sort of allowance. So not only have we got that information, but then per user account, we've got a list of recently accessed files. And when I say we found so much information in this triage log that determines where we go next, you wouldn't believe. So we've got recently accessed files. In here, we've got Binance set up and everything like that. We've got an anarchist cookbook. We've got maps. We've got recent applications. At the top of that list is Brave Browser. And we've got recent documents. We've got Dynamite on there. We've got pictures. We've got a Pokemon game on there as well. The cheat book zip files, so documents on there. Recent URLs, installed applications, Windows history, Chrome history as well. So on that initial page, we didn't have a name or anything like that, but this person's actually been signed into their emails in the Chrome browser, and we've got access to that within 30 seconds inside this triage log. So now we've got a name to the device. In this instance, that is the suspect. And that's the full Chrome history there. We've got Windows links as well. Again, we've got Dynamite on there, Anarchist Cookbook, all sorts of information, and then a list of USB devices that have been connected to the machine as well. So let's say we are using the portable version of VFC and we're on scene and we've found one laptop. Within 30 seconds of pointing it towards VFC portable, we've actually found there's been a lot of USB devices connected, and maybe we need to find those. So it's just giving you so much information. As I don't believe there's a triage tool out there that can get you this sort of information as quickly as it does. So that comes part of parcel as VFC as well. If you've not used VFC before, you get all this as part of it. Like I say, we've got two versions of VFC, VFC Lab and VFC Portable. I would personally always go with the portable version because you never know when you're going to need it, and the price difference is very, very minimal. If you'd like to get in touch with us for a quotation as well, if you want, I'm going to type it in chat. If you would like to email asking for a quote, we can let you know the price. Let me see if it does it properly. There we go. So if you contact sales@md5.uk.com, asking for a price just to know how much it is, or if you'd like to go in more depth about certain parts, let me know. In terms of the password tools as well, this will be the last thing that I talk about at the moment. So in terms of the password tools, there's 3 ways in which we can remove a password. The best way is having these 2 ticked here, these 2 buttons ticked here. And again, I apologize for that being really small. But one of those features allows you to convert Windows online accounts to local accounts. We don't have internet connection, so we don't want that. So we need to localize them. So VFC can localize them and then remove the local account password as the virtual machine is being created. So what it'll do is, if you then create a virtual machine with those settings switched on, it'll take you into the recently accessed user account, and then you won't have to worry about password or anything like that. I know there's difficult people out there that are unwilling to give the passwords. Naturally, they'll be unwilling to give the passwords. You don't have to worry about that when it comes to VFC. The second way is, if you forget to untick that, if you get to tick that feature, you can do it afterwards. So if we suspend that virtual machine, we can select then that virtual machine in this part here and click apply password bypass. I'm not going to do it because we've already done it. And then that'll take 3 to 5 seconds, and then all the passwords will have been bypassed. There is also another feature that gets injected inside the virtual machine every single time called the generic password reset tool. And that resets the password inside the virtual machine only. That gives you a password then to type in. And in some instances in the browser where the passwords are saved locally, you'll be required to put a password in to view those. That generic password resetted tool password will allow you to view those passwords. Some of them now are saved in the cloud. So obviously we won't have access to those. That is the end of what I am going to talk about in terms of VFC and presenting using virtual machines. Does anyone have any questions? So I can see the question in chat at the moment. If the acquired image of a physical disk is BitLocker protected, can VFC decrypt it with the BitLocker key? If you have the BitLocker key, then you're able to create a virtual machine and then input that BitLocker key inside the VM. So it will allow you to do that. It all depends on what sort of BitLocker it is and stuff like that. But if you want to get in touch with us at sales@md5.uk.com, and if you want to set up a quick 15-minute meeting so we can discuss that further of how that works, etc., then I'm more than happy to do so. Thank you for your question, Ricky. So does the crypto tool only apply to the forensic image and find crypto transactions, wallets, etc.? Or will it be possible to find the same on a mobile phone extraction? Does it only find Binance or can it find other cryptos such as Luno, etc.? So it's not a specific crypto tool itself, VFC. So when it comes to what VFC is actually pulling through, is what you'll be able to find. So whatever's on the original device will be what you'll be able to find inside the VM. So let's say that this person has been quite savvy and fully signed out of absolutely everything, and they've changed the password before the sign out and they've never signed in using a new password and everything like that. It's going to be very difficult to find that information inside the VM. What the virtual machine allows you to do, and it gives you the best possible way of being able to find this information, and is it gives you that original environment. So let's say that they haven't signed out, you'll have access to their full transaction history and everything like that. In terms of the different types of crypto wallets, crypto transactions, everything like that, it'll be whatever the original person used. VFC doesn't discriminate when it comes to the sort of files it pulls through and everything like that. It just pulls absolutely everything because it's creating what the original was. It doesn't, VFC itself won't do mobile phone images. So it is strictly computers when it comes to that. Thank you for that question. Is there any more questions? Like I say, if anything does come up, please let me know. I'll put my email in there as well. I have to separate up a little at md5.uk.com. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm more than happy to help you out. Or just visit our website as well. I'll put that in chat, md5. It's www.vfc.uk.com. If you want to visit VFC, the VFC website, there's a lot of information on there. We've got case studies, videos. We have also got an official training course as well. So if you've ever used VFC before, then you'll be able to do a training course. That does come with a cost, but it'll mean that you're an expert in VFC. So if you ever get questioned in court as to are you an expert in using the software, you will be with that certificate. I think there is another question. Is there or will there be any Mac support? Unfortunately not. Due to Apple's licensing agreements with their end user, it's technically illegal to virtualize Mac, so we won't be able to do that, unfortunately. Plus, with the introduction of the T2 chip many moons ago, it's just near impossible to be able to virtualize that sort of thing. And so we fortunately stay clear of Mac. Are there any other questions? I'll give it a minute or so just in case you do. There are many more features to VFC as well. But if I were to go through them all, we'd probably go over time. So yeah, just to reiterate, if you do want to go through absolutely anything, please let us know. We're more than happy to put some time aside for you to go through one-on-one how VFC would benefit you. We appreciate that not all investigations are the same. VFC, like I say, is usable in many different sectors: cybersecurity, incident response, digital forensics. But inside those sectors as well, all the investigations can be so different. So if you would like to know more about how VFC can actually work for you, please let us know, and we can tailor a demonstration towards that. I think we've got another question. Curiosity. So what do you do when you encounter a Mac use a different tool? So VFC is our own tool that we've created. In terms of virtualizing a Mac, I don't know what's capable of doing that, unfortunately. We genuinely just stay clear of it because of the legalities surrounding it. So there's nothing I can suggest on that one, I'm afraid. Are there any more questions? Thanks, Tom. No problem. Thank you, Megan. Just a quick thanks to Megan as well for putting these on. She works tirelessly in the background, making sure that this works perfectly, no matter how it goes for us presenters. So, yeah, thanks for that, Megan. And hopefully see you all soon in my emails with any more questions or if you'd like a price. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day.